Welcome to my channel. I'm Jim Rohn, your companion on the journey to self-understanding and building healthy relationships. Have you ever wondered, am I really avoidant, or am I just keeping my distance to protect myself from getting hurt? In today's video, I'm revealing 5 clear signs that prove you're not the kind of avoidant person who runs away and shirks responsibility in relationships. If you've ever felt confused about the difference between keeping boundaries for self-protection and truly avoiding connection in a harmful way, this video is for you. I'll help you recognize what's a natural, healthy response and what behaviors actually cause harm to you and those around you. Together, we'll explore how you can maintain your boundaries, honor your feelings without losing yourself or the sense of connection. This isn't just about you or your relationship. It's about you deserving love and respect without guilt or confusion about who you are. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss more insightful, practical videos on psychology and relationships. Watch this video all the way through because I'm confident you'll find the strength to change how you see yourself and build stronger, more secure connections. Let's get started. First, keep your distance not to run away, but to protect your feelings. Keeping your distance is not about running away. It's the act of someone who truly respects their own feelings and self-worth. When you choose to pull back, it's not because you're cold, indifferent, or cowardly. It's your way of protecting your heart and mind from being overwhelmed, shielding yourself from emotional overload that anyone in your shoes would feel. This is a conscious, intentional act, not an unconscious reaction or blind avoidance of everything. Imagine being in a cramped space, full of pressure, where every interaction threatens to violate or make you lose yourself. In such an environment, stepping back temporarily is not a sign of weakness or giving up. It's a sign of emotional maturity and self-awareness. It shows you know your limits and when to protect them. This is especially important for those with avoidant tendencies because we don't just face external pressures. There's an inner voice urging us, don't let anyone get too close or you'll get hurt. Keeping distance may be like building a protective wall, but it's also a way to preserve your inner peace so that when the time is right, you open your heart safely and selectively. Many outsiders may misunderstand and judge you as cold, distant, or uncaring, but only you truly understand the reason behind this. It's how you preserve respect for yourself. You don't let your emotions be manipulated or swept away by unreasonable demands. You don't allow yourself to be dragged into situations that hurt your soul, only to regret or blame yourself later. In fact, intentionally pulling back is a significant act of courage, because it requires facing loneliness, feeling misunderstood or abandoned. You know it's not always possible to be cheerful, easily fit in, or communicate without being hurt, and you choose to love yourself by honoring your boundaries. Many fall into the trap of always being open, always being available, forgetting that setting boundaries is entirely reasonable and necessary for healthy personal growth and relationships. Keeping distance doesn't mean shutting the door on the world, but keeping it open in the right way, at the right time, and for the right people. When you understand this, you no longer feel guilty or ashamed for needing alone time to recharge. You are not a bad person for saying no or choosing silence to avoid being sucked into stressful cycles. On the contrary, you are showing self-respect and self-love, something any relationship needs to thrive. Life doesn't always demand you be perfect at communication or emotional expression. Sometimes maturity means knowing what you need, where you stand, and when to step back to maintain balance. That's how you protect yourself from unnecessary wounds, without sacrificing your emotional safety due to external pressure, to always be open and friendly. Most importantly, when you keep distance with intention and clarity, it proves you are in control of your life and emotions, not controlled by them. You are not a harmful avoidant, someone who unconsciously withdraws to dodge responsibility or connection. You are someone who deeply and consciously loves yourself, who respects yourself enough not to trade inner peace for any outside pressure. Always remember, self-respect is not selfishness. Self-respect is the ability to put yourself first, so you can love, give, and receive in healthy ways. When you maintain respect for yourself, you attract relationships that truly respect and cherish you. And that is what truly matters. Dấu hiệu thứ hai, từ chối trả lời hoặc I am lặng để giữ ranh giới, không phải để trừng phạt. After we clearly understand that keeping distance is an act of emotional self-protection, the next step many avoidant individuals experience is refusing to respond or choosing silence. And this does not mean you are playing mind games or intentionally punishing someone. In reality, silence is sometimes the only way you can maintain healthy boundaries and protect yourself from being dragged into unnecessary drama, pointless arguments, or situations that make you feel out of control. When you choose not to respond immediately, you are giving yourself time to think, to recognize your feelings, rather than rushing into stressful confrontations that could cause you more pain. You are not being inconsistent or indifferent, but someone who knows they need space and peace to respond calmly and appropriately. Silence in this case is a deliberate choice, a strategy to preserve your energy and mental health, not a weapon to control or make the other person feel abandoned or hurt. This is the major difference between someone who knows how to maintain boundaries and an emotional manipulator who shifts responsibility. Imagine if you forced yourself to reply to every message and explain everything immediately. You would be trapped in a never-ending cycle of pressure and stress. Don't you have the right to set limits for yourself? No one can demand that you always be available and meet all their needs without consideration or respect. That's why choosing silence or pausing responses is not a sign of indifference or shirking responsibility, but an action showing you know how to protect your emotional space, not allowing yourself to get caught up in meaningless arguments or exhausting conversations that drain your control. Many people with avoidant attachment styles are often misunderstood as uncaring or cold simply because they need time and space to process emotions. But the truth is not like that. Your choice to remain silent is to keep yourself safe, avoid overload, and allow yourself to calm down and think more carefully before responding, instead of giving rushed replies that might worsen the situation. This is also how you show respect for yourself. When you don't force yourself to meet every demand immediately, you set a clear and consistent boundary for yourself. This boundary not only helps you maintain inner peace, but also teaches those around you to respect your space and time. Sometimes, choosing silence can even help both parties avoid unnecessary conflicts. When your mood isn't stable or you're not ready to communicate constructively, silence is the best choice to prevent further damage to the relationship or yourself. Importantly, don't let the inner voice of doubt and judgment confuse your boundary-setting actions with punishment or mind games. You don't need to feel guilty for not answering right away or choosing silence. This is your right to protect your peace. In other words, the silence you choose is not avoidance, it's emotional maturity. It shows you know how to care for yourself, when to step back to recharge, and prepare for healthier, more effective conversations. When you master this, you'll realize you're no longer swept away by negative emotions or prolonged stressful situations. You have the right to choose how and when to communicate in ways that suit you best, and that is completely normal and worthy of respect. Thanks to your ability to maintain boundaries by refusing to respond or choosing silence, you demonstrate self-respect and maturity. You are not an unconscious avoidant, nor someone who shirks responsibility or connection. You are someone who deeply and consciously loves and protects yourself. This is an important message to remember. Maintaining silence to protect yourself does not mean you don't care or don't want to resolve issues. On the contrary, it's how you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to face challenges and communicate honestly and respectfully for both yourself and the other person. So instead of blaming yourself for silence or delayed responses, be proud of your ability to maintain boundaries and honor your emotions. This is the sign of a mature person who respects themselves and knows how to create healthier relationships. Sign 3. Anger or frustration when pushed beyond limits, not a denial of responsibility. Once you have learned to keep your distance and use silence to protect your emotional boundaries, it becomes inevitable that there will be moments when your limits are pushed beyond what you can tolerate. In those moments, feelings of anger or frustration arise not as signs that you are shirking responsibility or losing emotional control, but as clear evidence that you still uphold your self-worth. Remember, just because you usually avoid conflict doesn't mean you don't have emotions, boundaries, or the ability to protect yourself. On the contrary, you may have been holding back and enduring many situations to maintain peace and avoid unnecessary tension, but you're human, not a machine. When pushed too far, you absolutely have the right to express strong emotions such as anger, disappointment, or even hurt. These natural and necessary reactions affirm that you do not accept being disrespected, dismissed, or forced to endure beyond your limits. They demonstrate that you respect yourself and are unwilling to tolerate any unjust behavior or circumstances that harm you. Many people, especially those with avoidant attachment styles, feel pressured to always control their reactions, afraid of being labeled difficult, distant, or uncontrolled. But it's important to remember that no one is immune to being triggered when pushed to their limits. Everyone has boundaries, and when crossed, these reactions are your body and mind's way of protecting you. Expressing anger or frustration does not mean you are irresponsible with your emotions. Responsibility does not mean you must remain silent or endure everything. It means recognizing, processing, and learning from your emotions to grow and improve your relationships. When you express anger in a controlled and conscious manner, you give yourself the opportunity to set clearer boundaries, signaling to those around you that you deserve respect. This is emotional maturity, not loss of control or selfishness. This also helps you avoid bottled-up resentment and frustration that build up over time. When negative emotions are expressed healthily, you maintain your balance and reduce the risk of deeper emotional harm in the long run. You should not blame or doubt yourself for these reactions. Instead, see them as important signals from your body and soul, reminding you to protect your boundaries and values. Moreover, know that reacting strongly does not prevent you from building healthy, lasting relationships. Rather, it shows you have the courage to stand up for yourself and refuse to endure neglect or harm for too long. However, it is crucial that you learn to express your anger and frustration appropriately, avoiding hurting others or causing unnecessary conflicts. Learning to communicate your feelings clearly, respectfully, and effectively is the mark of a mature response. Believe that admitting and expressing your emotions is a significant step towards self-respect and emotional growth. You are not weak for sometimes reacting strongly. You are someone learning to stay grounded in the complex world of relationships. Most importantly, when you maintain boundaries, protect yourself, and communicate clearly, you not only help yourself but also contribute to creating sincere, respectful, and balanced relationships. From keeping your distance and choosing silence to reacting with timely anger, you are on a meaningful journey towards safety and genuine love. This is a journey of maturity, self-respect, and real connection, not avoidance or escape. So, view each emotion and reaction as part of the story you tell about yourself, the story of someone who knows how to love and respect themselves, who knows when to stand firm and when to step back to preserve peace. Sign 4. Share thoughts and feelings in moderation, selectively, and honestly. After you have learned to keep your distance, use silence to protect your boundaries and express your emotions appropriately. The next step in emotional maturity is sharing your thoughts and feelings in a balanced, selective, and authentic way. This skill not only helps you keep yourself safe, but also lays the foundation for healthy and lasting connections with others. Many people feel pressured to reveal every thought and emotion in order to be understood or to feel real and close. However, sharing emotions excessively is not always the best approach. In fact, it can make you feel more vulnerable or get caught up in uncontrollable reactions from others. Instead, emotionally mature individuals know that expressing what they feel at the right time and to the right person is an art. You don't have to expose everything or force yourself to appear perfect or pitiful. You only need to understand which emotions are important and worth sharing to be understood and supported. Selective sharing is how you protect your own safety, avoiding being hurt or taken advantage of. This is not avoidance or hiding, but a sign of maturity and self-respect. You respect your emotions enough not to let them be drained or exploited in conversations that lack value or genuine empathy. Moreover, selective emotional sharing helps you maintain balance in relationships. When you know how to express just enough, you avoid overwhelming others or creating pressure. This fosters a safe space where both parties can listen and respect each other. You might have feared that not sharing everything would cause misunderstandings or make you appear less authentic. But in reality, authenticity doesn't require you to open every door in your soul. Being authentic means knowing yourself well and recognizing the right time and way to express yourself. Authentic sharing also builds relationships based on mutual trust and respect. When you share consciously, Listeners sense your sincerity and seriousness toward your feelings and story. This encourages them to respond with honesty and understanding, rather than snap judgments or hasty reaction, especially in relationships where you may have been hurt or disappointed by others. Selective sharing protects you from further harm. You clearly know your limits and what can be shared without being exploited or hurt more. This is one key to maintaining safety in complex relationships. Another important point is that sharing just enough preserves your freedom. You don't get dragged into having to explain or prove yourself to everyone. Instead, you keep control of your story, knowing your thoughts and feelings are private, and you have the right to decide when and with whom to share. You are practicing mature communication, where emotions are respected, understanding is nurtured, and boundaries are upheld. This not only protects you, but also creates deeper, meaningful connections. So don't feel pressured to say everything or explain every feeling. Allow yourself to be selective, to share and receive understanding in a way that feels safe and right for you. This is true emotional maturity and the sign of someone who knows how to love and respect themselves. Sign 5. Seek outside support when the current relationship is not secure enough. Once you have learned to keep your distance, choose silence at the right moments, and share your emotions in a balanced, selective, and authentic way, you are on a solid path toward emotional maturity. However, life is not always perfect, and sometimes the relationship you are in cannot meet all your essential emotional needs. In those moments, seeking support outside the relationship is not a sign of avoidance or running away, but a clear expression of self-respect and the ability to protect yourself. We are social beings, born with the need to connect and be understood. When your partner, family member, or closest friend cannot provide you with emotional safety, you have the right to turn to other sources, people who can listen, share, and help you feel accepted and loved. This does not mean you are disloyal or not trying in your current relationship. Rather, it shows you know how to care for yourself and refuse to be emotionally deprived for long. Seeking support outside is a brave and wise act. It requires admitting that you cannot bear everything alone and that you deserve empathy and help. This is important because many of us are obsessed with the idea of being strong and self-reliant, forgetting that asking for help is also a sign of strength and maturity. When you seek someone outside your current relationship for support, you create a mental safety net. This space allows you to be understood and to process complex emotions that you may not be able to express or have reciprocated in your current relationship. The supporter is not a replacement but a supplement to your safety, helping you maintain balance and inner strength. Another important aspect is that you clearly set boundaries when seeking support. You do not use others to avoid conflict or create abusive or unhealthy relationships. Instead, you consciously choose healthy, responsible relationships and maintain clarity and awareness in them. This is not betrayal or rejection of your current relationship, but recognition that everyone needs a support system during hard times, and you absolutely deserve that. It also shows respect for yourself by refusing to remain lonely, stuck, or deeply hurt. Having an outside friend or companion can even help you see your current relationship more clearly, recognize necessary boundaries, and gain the strength to make the right decisions for yourself. So, if you feel lonely, misunderstood, or unsafe in your current relationship, boldly seek outside support. See it as part of your healing and growth process, not a sign of weakness or avoidance. You are learning to protect yourself in the deepest and most sustainable way, not by running away or giving up, but through conscious and responsible awareness and action. You know you deserve to be loved, supported, and to live in healthy, respectful, and sincere relationships. Finally, allow yourself to receive the help you need. Don't hesitate to share, not to avoid, but to replenish energy, strengthen your spirit, and stand stronger on your journey to find true safety and love. You are on the path of emotional maturity, where you not only know how to care for yourself, but also build truly valuable and lasting relationships. Believe that seeking support outside is a powerful and necessary step to keep yourself safe and build a brighter future. We have journeyed together through 5 key signs that prove you are not an avoidant in a negative sense, but rather someone who knows how to love, respect, and protect themselves within relationships. From keeping distance to safeguard your emotions, choosing silence as a way to maintain boundaries, expressing feelings at the right time to affirm your self-worth, sharing thoughts authentically and selectively, to finally knowing when to seek support outside when your current relationship isn't safe enough. All these are signs of emotional maturity and deep self-respect. The most important message I want to share with you is this: you have the right to be safe, to be loved, and to be respected. Setting boundaries and protecting your emotions and needs is not selfish or avoidance. It is how you preserve your value and peace in your life. Remember, every step you take on this journey is a powerful, conscious choice and proof of your inner strength. Never feel guilty or ashamed for needing time or space to care for yourself. When you honor and love yourself, you will attract worthy people and truly healthy relationships. If you found this video or article helpful, please don't forget to subscribe and share to spread this positive message to more people. Keep walking this path of self-development and building truly safe, lasting connections with me. Thank you for taking the time to listen and accompany me. Believe that with clarity and patience, you can absolutely create a fulfilling emotional life, full of love and respect.